Howdy folks, it's Toledo here and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator, and today we start a new bush trip. As I record this, World Update 8 dropped yesterday, so it's the next night as I record this. So for me it's fresh, hot off the press. For you all it's like a week ago or 2 weeks ago even by the time you see this, because as I record this I'm like 7 videos behind on editing. So the 7 videos you just saw haven't been edited when this was recorded. So kind of funny behind the scenes stuff. One weird thing with this update now is my Bandicam now hooks to Microsoft Flight Sim. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, Bandicam, you can either screen record or you can hook it, which is they call game record. You get better, at least I get better performance when I hook it, and not as good performance when I screen record, which when you're chasing frame rates in a flight sim, it does matter. A lot of games that doesn't matter, but for like flight sim it does, because every frame matters in flight sim to a certain point, of course. However, I am still screen recording just because of the big long videos I make. If I click out, it corrupts the video and it's too difficult to redo. So I'm going to keep screen recording. I only lose a few frames per second, and we're using the 60s anyway, so not a huge deal. But I just thought I'd mention that after like 12 updates between the sim updates and the world updates, I can finally hook Microsoft Flight Sim back to Bandicam. Those of you might care about that, some of you probably don't, but I thought it was very interesting. So back on task now. Today we're going to start another bus trip. Originally I was going to do all the Australia ones and then start the World Update 8. That's hard to say. The Iberian Peninsula Update or something, I guess they call it. And then I was going to do those after Australia, but then I'm like, you know what? If we do all the Australian ones, then we're going to be stuck in the same part of the world again for like a month or two. And then we'll change world, where we are in the world, for a month or two. And then that could get kind of monotonous, because that's what happened with the Nordics and the European ones, was that we were stuck in a certain part of Europe, of the world, for like 6 or 7 or 8 months, and it kind of got to be kind of too much of a good thing. So we are not going to do all the Australian ones. We're going to jump around, and then as the next world update shows up with more bush trips, we'll jump to those. That makes sense. So then we'll, like, so it could be, I could jump to another Australia one right after, like this one for example, or I might be later. You know what I mean? I just want to mix and match so we don't get stuck in the same part of the world, or else we'll be like, I'm sick of Australia, even though we were excited. You know what I mean? But if you mix and match, it'll be fine. So I think what we're just going to do is just go in order to some extent. I don't want to like save Tasmania for like a year from now. I want to get to that one pretty soon. But so if you go down here, we've done them all down to here, which is one of the new ones from the update that just dropped. It looks like we're back in the DA62, or maybe that's the DA42, whatever, see what it is. But we just did this plane. I told you how sick of it I was, but whatever. Whatever. So we're going to do this one, the Iberia connection from Madrid to Lisbon. Let's click on it. There we go. And we are on the DA62 again. Yeah, whatever. We'll survive. We're frenemies. We don't get along very well. So if you've never seen a bush trip with me, the way this works is we do one leg per video, except we might combine that. Well, because when this gets edited down, that could be like a 5-minute video. But anyway, generally speaking, we do one leg per video. That way, if somebody is just wanting to see how a certain leg is done, they can find it, search it out, and just watch it instead of waiting through a long video. Yeah, that's it. one leg per video. I guess I don't really need to give much of an introduction. As far as navigation, we'll talk about navigation style when we get into the flight. So we're just going to read about it. We only read about it on the first leg. So here we go. Beginning just outside of Madrid, Spain, the Iberian connection flight takes you west through Portugal to the Atlantic coast, ending at Lisbon, Portugal's capital and largest city. This incredible journey highlights some of the best that this part of the world has to offer. You'll experience mountain views, pastoral vistas, intriguing architecture and rugged coastline. And then assistance, we don't need the assistance. I don't think there's an achievement for this one. I haven't checked lately to see if any achievements have been added. We've done all the achievements except the $1,000 one, which those of you who've been with me since the beginning know that we've probably done 1,000 hours. It's just the first several hundred hours weren't counted because it was screwed up back then, but whatever. Doesn't matter. I should probably check and see if there are new achievements. Anyway, 2 hours, 18 minutes will take us about 8 hours by the time it's all said and done. Otherwise, that's it. First leg, here we go. Alright, so let me get comfortable in my chair. Man, that is a wide runway. Look how low it looks like we're to the ground, which is the hardest thing I have a landing is judging my altitude off the, not altitude, but my height off the runway. But every runway is different. Anyway, we're gonna come down here. We're gonna do a few things like turn on pitot heat, turn this thing off because I can't stand it. Is wind on? I don't see wind on. Let's turn on wind, although it doesn't actually matter in the bush trips. It's only like a knot or two. Let's see. Do we need lights? I don't think we need lights. I'll turn them on anyway. Over here, we will zoom this out just a little bit. And repair and refuel. I guess we already are full because we just started the trip. Oh, it did go up a little bit. There you go, my personal volume was down. What was I going to say? I was going to say something else. Oh yeah, I want to see if this is fixed. If we close these, do they stay closed? They don't. So that is still broken. So let's all put in Zendesk tickets for this. So maybe in the next update that gets fixed. I assume this is broken still too then. If we do the timer and we leave and come back. Yep. So I can't be the only person doing bush trips, right? So how did this not get noticed? Because it's been since World Update 7 to 8, was that like 2 months or something? Maybe it takes them that long to get to, maybe it's not a priority. I don't know. Anyway, let's all put in Zendesk tickets for this problem, and then hopefully they can get that fixed for the next update, unless it's already in progress. I haven't checked. But that's kind of a bummer. But at least our images are back. Because some of the bush trips, we didn't have images of our destination on each leg. So you'd have to look at the menu screen. Alrighty, I want to take care of that. What are we going to do? Let's hop outside very briefly. And look around. Oh, that looks gorgeous. This looks gorgeous right out the gate. We've talked before. I know it's taking a long time. This is the first leg. So the first leg, there's more talking in the beginning. Those of you who haven't seen a bush trip. But the next leg, we won't talk this much. I've talked before about the scenery on some of these bush trips. Like, some of it looks really satellite-y. Some of it looks really good. This is in the middle-ish. We'll see when we take off, though. But it gets better. It gets worse. Just depends on where in the world you are. Alrighty. I was going to say something else, too, and I totally forgot. Doesn't matter. Alright, let's see here. Let's just... Oh, navigation-wise. If you start a bush trip and you don't quit it, you can use GPS the whole time if you want to. GPS means you can just use your autopilot, set the nav, or you can look at the map. Man, that took forever to load, and it gives you your track. Right? But as soon as you leave the sim, that goes away. Now, is that cheating? Technically, no, right? Because technically, you should use whatever tools you have available to you. Purist, yeah, it's cheating, and I use strong air quotes for that, because a purist would say, hey, set your heading, do your time, look for landmark, which we do. However, when I start a bush trip, I usually take advantage of the tools available, and we will use a GPS, but then I leave the sim each time between trips because I have a real life outside of this. Then we come back, then we have to navigate old school. Alrighty. The only difference is we have a map to tell us where our plane is, so we can be like, oh, it says look for a U-shaped lake. Oh, there it is. Whereas like in the Nevada bush trip, the Gold Rush one, in the Cub, I think that thing was, you didn't have this, so you really had to stare out your window for a U-shaped lake, and it was exhausting. So this is kind of like a hybrid approach, right? So anyway, different ways to do it. We've done it all. We don't have anything to prove to anybody. We've done it all these different ways to do it however you want. In fact, if you really want to, you can Google map everything, right? Like if it says, look for this, you can Google that and see where it is and compare it to the map over here if you want to, right? So technically you're supposed to use the tools available to you to be as safe and efficient as possible. But purist, you know, but then again, what's a purist, right? To someone who's 19 years old doing this, a purist for them is going to be different than a purist for me, which will be, you know, different than a purist for a boomer. And when I say boomer, I mean an actual boomer, not Gen X. We are not boomers. Anyway, long introduction. The first leg of every bush trip is always longer before we get going. Subsequent legs, bam, we just hop into it and we go, right? Okay. It does look like we're sitting kind of high, but one, I can't land this thing if we sit lower. I just cannot land this airplane if we sit lower. Two, I'm 6'4" in real life, and I would actually probably be taller. My head would be smashed up against that, so I don't feel guilty for the seating position. This is where we sit in this aircraft. That's how it's done. Okay, 10 minutes into this video, let's get cracking here. All right, we're starting out at Lima Echo Mike Delta, heading to LETI. Half an hour or so. Madrid, after lifting off from Adolfo Suárez, Madrid Barajas Airport, head southwest toward the city center of Madrid, the capital and largest population center in Spain. Ooh, we might have some story time. A lot of you come back for story time. The regulars, you come back with story time. I've been trying to get more story time in the videos because it's been like months. So the past 2 videos I think I had story time. If I left it in, haven't edited them yet. I had one story that was kind of did not need to be told, but whatever. We'll see if that one made it in or not. But otherwise, I'm going to try to introduce more story time as I can. So I do have some Spain stories, kind of vicariously through other people. But I do have some Spain stories. Anyway, so that we're going to do 3 minutes. So we're going to look at Madrid from the air, and then after that we will talk about these other ones. I know that's going to come back, but I like to minimize it anyway. We are going to take advantage, like I said, and use GPS. So let's see where this is going to put us. I also hate how the map resets. So POI 1, we're going to take off. Bam, there's the city, and then we'll read about POI 2 when the time comes. Autopilot. Oh gosh, let's see. What's terrain look like? We should probably go a good... Let's go a good 3,000 feet per start until we get an idea of the terrain, and then we'll climb as needed. We've been trying to stay lower, it's just easier to see things. If it's like, look at that castle, we're 7,000 feet up, we're not going to see it. But if there's mountains, we don't really want to zigzag through valleys and add 3 hours to our trip. So it's a compromise. Flight director then, if I can find it, there it is. We're going to use nav, and we're going to use vertical speed, and we're going to do, I think I do 800 feet per minute in this plane. I think that's what we're going to do. That's it. Don't have to worry about weather at all. Don't have to worry about ATC at all. Very wordy introduction. I apologize. All right, so now if I don't touch the parking brake, is it on? Because if I do touch the parking brake, it turns it on. So what's going to happen? Yay, look at that. Parking brake was off. Okay. Yeah, I just need to remember to switch fuel tanks, I think. Do I switch fuel tanks in this one? I can't remember. I just flew this plane too, but I can't remember. Anyway, we'll worry about fuel later. Alrighty, here we go. Let's pop up. Come on. Oh, that was kind of weird. Very touchy controls, even though my sensitivity is turned way down. Alright, gears coming up. Right? I heard it. Yeah, I just wanted to see it, but too late. And flaps coming up. And we will wait a moment before we engage autopilot. We're turning to the right. Let's look outside if we can. There we go. Look at this great scenery. What a big airport. That is so cool. Oh my gosh. We're going on a family vacation. There's tower. We're almost at our cruising altitude already. Alrighty. We can engage autopilot now. It'll turn us to the right. And the co-pilot has a few things to say. We'll let them speak. Alright, let's see here. Let's not hit the mountains. I think that train is far enough away. We do not need to worry about it. Let's hop outside. And let's enjoy for a moment together this incredible scenery right out of the gate. Oh, look at that airplane. Oh, look at it. Oh my gosh. We're gonna be able to see from here. Look at that thing. Oh man. There really should be air traffic control. That thing is low. Is it doing a pattern? Where is it? Where are you? Where'd you go? Where did that airplane go? What? No, seriously, where'd that airplane go? Did it despawn? Did you? Oh, I assume y'all saw that. It's gone. I think it like literally despawned. What? Oh, look at that stadium. Man. Normally we do sightseeing without my voice by now, but look at there's another airplane. That is crazy. Huh. That's super cool. I'm trying to find that airplane, but whatever. Doesn't matter. Okay, let's not get hung up with those details. Okay, so we are really freaking low. This is not going to work. Let's go up another 2,000 feet, I guess. So let's do 4,000 or 5,000 vertical speed. We'll go back up 800 feet per minute. There we go. All right, we're over Madrid. I'm just the scenery. This is like, I'm sorry. We're gonna enjoy this for a minute before we read about where we need to go next, because I have yet to see one of the photo job, whatever city word they use for the fancy cities. I've yet to see one that's good. Look at those buildings over there. This is ridiculous. I know it's not a sightseeing simulator, but man, this is insane. Oh, look at this. You got like a big roundabout in the city, modern buildings mixed in. It doesn't look too dystopian, because a lot of the cities up close look pretty dystopian. We got a tower there. I don't know anything about Madrid. Ooh, big Central Park type thing with the amphitheater. Oh my goodness. Wow. Wow. I don't know what else to say. It's surrounded by mountains. Ooh, look at that. Look at this cool, like, built up area. I'm sure a lot of you are rolling your eyes like, Turtle, that's the blah 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 district, or that's the blah blah blah. And I'm like, I don't know. Look. What's that? A big paintball marina? Oh, I've never been this into a city ever since I've done Flight Sim. Look at that. Oh. I'm really distracted by this, but that's okay. Man, that really stands out too. That's really cool. Alrighty, we're probably missing out on some detail. More park. Alright, let's see what else does it say here. So then it says, from Madrid, fly northwest into the highlands outside of the city to Pantano de Valmayor. Valmayor. It's not Valmayor because it's Spanish, right? Pantano de Valmayor. No. The accent is always second to last syllable unless there's a mark, so it's Balmayor. Right? A large reservoir. Okay, so we're going to head towards the reservoir. Since we have the GPS for this lake, we're going to take advantage and see where that is. There's a big reservoir way out here. That's not even on the map. That's where we're headed. 6 minutes out. Come on. Really? You're not going to work for me here. Come on, we can do it. Well, that's already zoomed out all the way. That's right. Oh, because I'm the opposite direction. There we go. So we're headed to there. So, for the first time in this this lake, I'm going to shut my trap, give you some sightseeing, and I will be back in a moment. Those of you who don't know how the sightseeing works for these trips, I cut down the flight time significantly by giving you just sightseeing with some cuts. However, you don't miss anything visually. So you still get to see everything. We better get some altitude first, because I don't know where's it taking us. I know it's going across the country here. I don't know. Look, okay, according to this is the highest land actually, and we're not going to quite hit those mountains. Well, we say that, but sometimes it'll put you into the mountains. Let's stay at this altitude. I'll just adjust if I need to. Alrighty, time for some sightseeing. See you in a little bit. Alright, look at that teeny tiny airport. Look at that thing. Alright, it's about time though. Well, the computer should turn us before we get this mountain, but we are going to be ready because we're over the reservoir here, right under. Well, look under the airplane phone. We can't do that. I'm like, look down at, look through the floorboard. There's the reservoir, right there. So we should be turning in a minute. If not, I'll take over manually just so we don't hit that mountain. Because it's going to tell us to turn southwesterly and fly over another large reservoir, the Embalse de San Juan. There we go. Did that for a couple minutes, so that must be this one here, I'm guessing, without even looking at the other map. And then after that, there's some more stuff which we'll read about when we get there. So here we go. There's a reservoir. Some things around it. Alrighty, cool. So there you go. You see how sightseeing works now. See you when we get to the other reservoir. Wait though. Maybe we should climb after all? I don't see the train picking up in front of us. You know what? Just for now, let's get up higher. The other legs though, we shouldn't have to. Well, now it's going to turn us a little more. For the other legs, we shouldn't have to climb all that much because it looks like it was going lower and lower, but whatever. Okay, I think I can relax now, and I'll see you in a moment. Alright, and now this reservoir is below us, so let's hop outside and have a peek together. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful part of town. Hopefully we don't hit that mountain in front of us, but let's read about the next thing. Even though the computer's taken over for us, we're going to read about it anyway. What was that? That was San Juan, and now we're going to go to Pedretoval. Pedretovalles. What? Fly? What? Where are you going? Are we gonna go like? Are we gonna thread the needle? Is that what's gonna happen here? There's the second reservoir there. No. It just says there's more water somewhere up here. Okie dokie. Whatever. No, there isn't. We're just gonna skirt. Okay, whatever. I might have to take over manually a minute here. Anyway, we're gonna go to that place. A town. Oh, Piedras, which lies at the foot of the large mountain. Okay, so there's a town right there we're going to before we hit the mountain, and then we're going to turn and fly over another large reservoir, Embalse de San Juan. Okay, good. LETI. We're looking for LETI. I think we're going to take over manually here before the computer throws us into a mountain. Where is our airport? Not even on here. Yeah, let's just take over manually anyway, which means more talking from me, because then I talk about what I'm doing and there's less out the window. But, wait, why won't autopilot turn off? Turn off. There we go. Alrighty, let's look for this town. We have to use chase cam. We can't even see anything with chase cam. There's a town right there. Foot of the mountains. Gorgeous. Well, let's hop inside and let's kind of go around the mountain. And then the computer should turn us at some point. But then there's an airport up here somewhere? Really? Is it just not? Probably like over here. Because what was it? It was 3 minutes and... Okay, it was... Wait, what? Hang on. Wait, I thought that was confusing. Look at this. It says, fly over a large reservoir, fly on the southwesterly course to the town, and then turn and fly over another large reservoir, same name, right? What? Something's confusing. Okay, this is weird. So let's just hang out here for a second and figure this out. So we've got this looking thing. Did that ever show up? That's this, right? Okay, so we're going along these mountains, and then there's an airport up here before this reservoir. So there's an airport up there somewhere. But the reason why I'm hand flying is because the mountains are right there, and the computer would have put us. I say computer just because the GPS would have put us along this ridge. I wanted to stay below train level because it's more interesting. So we're just going to hand fly through this. So why not? So we cannot, again, for those of you who do not watch every bush trip, because why would you? I'm just kidding. A lot of you do, and I appreciate it. You can't use drone view, which is this, because my drone controls are my pedals and my yoke, so I have no control of the airplane. And since we're not using autopilot, we have to rely on how it's trimmed, which at the moment is okay, but we're going to have some drafts from these mountains is going to throw us off. So now I have control of my airplane. So we can use chase cam, but you can't look up and down. Well, you might be able to do some things with it, but generally speaking, can I reset this? There you go. But generally speaking, you can't do a whole lot of looking around other than circle. I call this chase cam. This is circle cam. Sorry. But I have control of my airplane. But the HUD is up there. You cannot turn the HUD off in a bush trip. You can turn the HUD off in free flight, but the bush trip, everything is locked. You can't make any changes to anything. Anyway, I believe the airport's right here somewhere. So let's hop inside. And let's zoom this in again and see if the airport shows up. It looks like we got somebody on top of us here. It's probably there somewhere. Anyway, even though I can't give you much sightseeing, I'm going to rest my voice for a second and I'll see you. Well, there's going to be no sightseeing. There's going to be a cut when we're ready to approach. There we go. It finally kicked in. I saw the airport right here and I'm like, how's that possible? And then I zoomed in and there it is. So we have to be zoomed in pretty close. So what am I doing? I'm nosediving, not on purpose. I brought back throttles just so we can line up. I don't know if we're going to make this without having to go around. We'll certainly try, but I don't think we're going to. That there is a road, but the airport's over there. We'll do gear down now. We'll look outside one last time. You all know that if I look outside even for a split second, we have problems. I'm just hoping I can land this thing, do a better job than in the previous 2 trips ago, I think it would have been. But anyway, yes, I'm extra chatty in this leg, partly because I'm excited and partly because I haven't filled people in on all the details for many, many bush trips now. But subsequent legs will not be as chatty. Alrighty, let's see here. We're going to try to find exactly where that runway is. I think I see it there, lined with dark, lined with the dark grass or whatever. And I'm slowly sliding forward. Sorry, I was literally sliding forward out of my chair for a set of flaps. Gears down, you hear the drag. Let's keep our speed up, though. We don't need to come to a screeching halt in the air. Come on. Man, this takes a lot of throttle when the flaps are deployed. I guess that makes sense. And we'll look outside like this one more time. Amazingly beautiful. Alrighty, here we go. Our first landing in this bush trip in my frenemy plane. Hopefully this goes okay. And then we'll have to leave the sim, which means we'll lose our GPS, but that's okay. Sometimes it gets boring if the GPS does it for you, but it is fun to do sometimes too. And we'll keep going here. I'm kind of tempted to combine legs. I know I keep saying one leg per video because that's how we normally do it, but I'm kind of tempted to combine a few legs just because it'll go faster for everybody watching, so it doesn't take like 2.5 weeks to watch this push trip if I do them every other day, every third day. So we'll see how I feel, because if I have a 15-minute leg or 17-minute leg, which a lot of them are, and I edit it down and I don't talk as much, that's only like an 8-minute video. Full flap now, and a little bit of float, and here we go. Put the lines between your legs, that keeps you centered. Just because of the perspective of where you sit, having the lines between your legs keeps you perfectly centered. Alright, our speed is good. Aim for those numbers. Yeah, the seating position is much better. There we go. We're going to tease the stall horn. I can't tell how high I am, but it's a pretty narrow runway, so we're probably like 10 feet off the ground. Throttle's at idle. Flare slightly, ground effects, soften the blow. And there we go. Those go down gently. Those rudders are sensitive on the brakes. Rudders are always sensitive in a sim, no matter how you set them up. The real life pilots complain about it all the time. And where is our thing? Come on, there you are. Good. Alright, only took 10 minutes longer than it was supposed to, because that's how it is for me. Anyway, this is only like in this video. I don't know if we're going to combine them or not. We'll have to see in the future. Alright, like, subscribe so you know when we keep continuing on this bush trip, and I'll see you then.